It's a fantastic book and at the same time mind-boggling. It examines our grand illusion. I'm a filmmaker, I'm a storyteller, so for a book that is examining the illusion and also examine our need to have faith, which is our relationship to God, to me is the emotional attachment to the unknown we call God. And it's not strictly religious, but it's faith related, spiritual.
I listened to Ang mostly. That was my preparation. He made me do yoga. There was a lot of acting training. He made me watch movies, made me read plays with him. There was weight gain, weight loss. There was muscle that needed to be built. I didn't know how to swim. Hold my breath, sea skills, learn how to move on a boat, how to work with a raft. I guess one of the, because I had never been exposed to movie making as such, so I learned about, in many ways, because the crew became so much like a family, I learned about how things are done, how intense they are, how much more goes into movies. So much goes into a movie that's really not seen by most people. So, I mean, it's just been one huge lesson in many ways for me.
I think it's in spirit, I believe. The movie is very loyal to the book, but in spirit. However, the movie is 2 hours. It's more elusive because we use photorealistic images, very much on your face in approximately 2 hours time. So I have to be somewhat different. I consolidate a lot of the first part, how he grew up, into his family life. So I have to, otherwise it will take an hour and a half before I sink the boat. And the ocean, I also do some I pick whatever I think is most important. And at the end, how you examine illusion within the illusion, that has to be a little bit different from the movie, from the book rather. That said, I think it's pretty close to the book.
पूरा चीज़ तो मेरे लिए सपना ही था literally, because for me right from the beginning I never expected anything like this. तो in some ways I guess right from the beginning मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा था कि ये हो रहा कैसे मेरे साथ, क्योंकि I was literally just a normal student, और फिर just making this I feel was like a dream, because I met so many people who's just so great. I met Davian obviously. I met so much inspiration.
Somebody asked me that question. I have joked about Tom Rothman, the head of the studio, is my tiger. But that's been a little naughty. But I think that there are two things that's like the tiger for me. One is, as you mentioned, obstacles, survival. The other is your inner tiger, the survival instincts. And also you fight with your own sanity. In life, if you get a little older, and also the ability to keep a balance within yourself. There is a tiger out there, there's a tiger in here. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with nature? How do you deal with the issue of God? All these things, I would consider that as Richard Parker. We have four tigers to play the role. Some made into the movie. But most shots were digital, but taking references of these tigers. So we learn a lot from those tigers. And we have one hyena. No, we don't have a real zebra, but we model some real zebra.
I think honestly, in many ways, Life of Pi it could be everybody's life in some way. Because, ऐसा टाइम आता है हर इंसान के लाइफ में कि जब वो लिटरली यू फील कि यू आउट इन द ओशन ऑन अ बोट विद द टाइगर एंड देयर इज जस्ट नथिंग यू कैन डू, यू आर होपलेस. एवरीबडी हैज़ दैट मोमेंट इन देयर लाइफ एंड आई थिंक इन सम वे मे बी दिस इज़ इन अ वे काइंड ऑफ इंस्पिरेशन कि मुश्किल वक्त आता है लेकिन उसके आगे निकलना भी पॉसिबल है. देयर इज़ अ वे टू गेट पास्ट द मोस्ट challenging things you face in life.
Irfan first, taboos. As long as he's remotely like Irfan, that's his part to lose. So I met Irfan 6 months before I knew him. So when we met in New York, do you want to meet? Of course, I love your work. I love your work. I think one thing the movie is different from the book is that it has to be even more authentic, because you're watching them. It's not indirectly you read something, you work in your own mind. They have to look authentic. So I made adjustments, but most of all I have to cast him first, because he carries the movie. You have to see what Pi looks like before everything else. So my search for Pi, which takes months, is the most important thing in pre-production. I know I have to go with the unknown, so I have a handful of agents go to every school and check any boy from 15 years old to 19, about that age range. So we read about 3,000 of them and videotaped, and I saw them. So after 3 rounds, it come down to 12, and I come here to meet them. And Suraj stand out right away. So after Suraj, the Irfan is, great news. At like 5 o'clock, I decide this is the boy. 6 o'clock, him, Tabu, and Irfan, we're all in the hotel having dinner together. He has such a struck. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Directing is all of them. To me, the part for this movie I like the most is actually working on digital. Yeah, it's not like a hack action thing, but it takes a long time. It feels like painting to me, except it's very expensive. Of course, working with actors and when you create the scenes, working in the water, when you do it, it's fantastic, but it's such a ride. Most of the time you're living in agony, but creating those images, they don't talk back. I like to think the visual effects is visualization of internal feelings. So for that, I feel like a painter, and I have thousands of them. Some of them are in here in Bombay, some in Hyderabad. They do a big part of the rendering and the particular animations. So working on those, I was just happy. But I think Hollywood is the main place that make a mainstream movie. Nobody can do it like the Americans do. So it's like Major League, like an NBA. Some of the best go there. Only in non-art house, the mainstream movies. I happen to cross over. Most of my movies play in the art house. If they're successful, they expand to the shopping malls. In Asia, my movies were blockbusters. In the West, or Hollywood sense, it's platform release, or rather modest art house, and then depend on sort of thing. With the Hulk and this one, it has to come down like a mainstream movie. Some of the advertisements sort of embarrass me. I like to be more humble. That's where I'm more comfortable with. But it just happened that I can make big movies. I think I'm one of the talent. I can do both. It's just when it comes to publicity, I'm more comfortable being world cinema art house than theater near you, so to speak. But I'm floating with a wave. There's a certain pleasure of doing big movies. Movie making, especially for independent, world cinema is getting harder. It sort of have to be eventful these days because people have so many choices of all kinds of media to be entertained, to communicate. The time when I was a kid, you just go to theater, whatever they put out, you watch. The time is over. So it's harder to bring audience to the theater, so sometimes the mainstream, the bigger eventful movie is necessary. I truly hope that world cinema, art cinema can really inject into this kind of, most part, the ocean part and some of the interior shot in Taiwan. And the Indian, what do you see? Indians shot in Pondicherry and Munnar. It's my second favorite next to Chinese. But problem is that I cannot have for a long period of time in every meal. Then it gets to me, yeah.